Hi, this is Jason from Sweaty Heroes, Comic Bargains, and today we're going to talk about Jack Kirby's Other Worlds. Uh, he co-created with Stan Lee the Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, the X-Men, Thor, not the Norse god Thor, Marvel's Thor. And for DC, he created the New Gods, which would be, amazingly enough, it's Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen. So uh, these are characters created by Jack Kirby, but obviously this is past Jack Kirby's time, so he'd already passed away. But these are stories based on his characters. So New Gods featured the planet New Genesis fighting against the planet New Apocalypse, where Darkseid ruled. And these are characters that were created even before Star Wars, actually. But they're in the vein of that same sort of cosmic space fantasy. And Jack Kirby's Fourth World, this title, is by John Byrne, following up on those characters. And this is Mr. Miracle, who was from New Genesis. And then what happened is that he came to Earth and became an escape artist. Darkseid. This was a one-shot. They were called New Year's Evil. And they were doing one-shots for DC Comics based on different villains that they had, and it was during one of the skip weeks. What is a skip week? Well, a skip week is a week where, like, it's the fifth week of publishing, because there happens to be 5 Wednesdays that month. And so they thought, as a clever marketing gimmick, they would release a whole bunch of one-shots under the New Year's Evil label. They eventually did other types of marketing gimmicks as well. And this is an issue of Orion, who is the son of Darkseid. And this one is written by Walter Simonson, who did a lot of run on Thor, since we're talking about Thor. Legends of the DC Universe is basically like kind of their version of Legend of the Dark Knight. Legend of the Dark Knight being the title that was a Batman anthology about untold Batman stories. Legend of the DC Universe bronzed that to anywhere in the DC Universe. And this was an issue featuring kind of like a time where they thought Darkseid was dead. And the people, his minions, trying to basically keep the fear. Jack Kirby, though, created so many different worlds. Kamandi was another character. Kamandi was kind of like, I would guess it would be like Planet of the Apes, but instead of like just apes, it was all kinds of humanoid beast. And that is what this book is about. But this is an Elseworld based on the original concept that Jack Kirby did from the 70s. Marvel did, Jack Kirby also in the 70s did the characters called the Eternals. The Eternals were basically like combining the elements of the 2001 A Space Odyssey kind of ideas that he got from that movie, with the idea that giant celestials help create this race of Eternals. And you can think of the Eternals as like the mutants who were created by cosmic gods. I would say it like that. The Celestials are like hundreds of feet tall and everything else. And deviants were kind of like the monsters, and the Eternals became the basis for our myths, and the monsters, the deviants, became the basis for the monster legends. And anyways, Marvel did do a movie. I did think it was interesting. I wish it was a little better, but it was a good experiment, I thought. But this is an annual from the early 2000s, where they were trying to bring back the series Eternals. Dynamite also tried to bring some of Jack Kirby's creations that he had made that never got off the ground, and sort of posthumous, like after his death, kind of had Alex Ross and others try and dust off some of these old drawings that were made but never published, and characters. Some characters were published, like Captain Victory. And so here's Dragon's Bane. Alex Ross drawing the cover. This is kind of in a little bit of sword and sorcery vein, but I thought this was kind of really interesting and different. And Captain Victory, again, a character created in the vein of definitely like a space fantasy. So he's kind of like a space ranger, but like the artwork's really good, and the story was kind of interesting. Sterling Gates wrote this story, and Alex Ross provided some of the art as well. The cover art, anyways. And then Icon. Icon is actually Marvel. Marvel Comics had Icon, which was going to be their imprint for creator-owned stuff, so the creator-owned could do stuff in the early 2000s, kind of like similar to what Epic Comics was in the 80s. And this was based on an original concept by Jack Kirby and his daughter Lisa Kirby. And it was written by Lisa Kirby, and basically was taking some unfinished Kirby ideas, and you can see a lot of the Kirby influence in this, and creating that into a comic book series. This has been Sweaty Hero Comic Bargains with Jack Kirby Creations. These are just some interesting stories that you can find. Like I said, especially the things like Jack Kirby's Galaxy Hunter. These are different ideas, different stories, and they're all in your local comic bin for $1 or less. Thanks for watching.